Alright guys, welcome to my Sparkus monster review. He is a Taunt status caster Mega Taunt monster from the Doomsday era. He is actually a really interesting monster. He was really good. I feel like a lot of people who didn't have didn't have 7 sins didn't really need him. But I have 7 sins and it is so powerful on any Taunt monster or Mega Taunt monster from the Doomsday era, but he is the only Taunt and Mega Taunt monster, so I'm definitely going to be using this guy a ton in war. And I think you guys will too. He's an amazing tank, although his stats are outdated by 3 seasons. So his skill set, and if you have only the best talents for him, only then will you still kind of want to keep him up. So his lore. Sparkus is a thunder monster from the Doomsday era. Sparkus had terrible problems controlling the electricity inside him until his brother Akudma talked to Sherzar about him. The War Master created an enchanted armor for Sparkus, which has allowed him to channel all that electricity. Now he's able to use it in his favor. So I am very, very, very interested in seeing what he looks like without the armor. Will he look like his brother Akudma? Who knows? But he's an absolute tank here. Like, look at those muscles. Alright, his finisher is Thunderstruck deals heavy thunder damage to all enemies, applies total damage reduction and shock to all enemies. So in my mind, this is just the infinite extra turn counter. There was a lot of infinite extra turn and ultra powerful infinite extra turn at that came out in the very next season in the Blossom era. So total damage reduction and shock were two very powerful ways to shut down attackers because Taunt and Mega Taunt were kind of disappearing. So this was a very nice finisher, but realistically it's bad. It doesn't remove positive effects, it doesn't remove evasion, it doesn't trait disable. But that's whatever. You never get your finisher anyways. At most, it just looks really cool. Alright, so let's talk about his trait. At rank 0, he has his biggest trait, the biggest thing that you get this guy for, Taunt. So instant viability with Taunt and Mega Taunt monsters. Any single attack that's not with Pierce or Cold Blood will have no choice but to go to you. And I even see a lot of Taunt with just not even dodge area monsters, because as long as the attacker doesn't have Pierce or Cold Blood, Taunt is still a decent protection mechanic. Like, you can't one-shot any of the enemies, and you'll have to do an AoE, and maybe that doesn't kill, maybe they have protection. Who knows, right? So Taunt instantly gives him viability with every single Taunt dodge area monster. Then at rank 1, you get Tough. This is a really good rank 1 trait because you get Tough, right? And Taunt with Tough is really good. Honestly, I kind of wish he wasn't a Mega Taunt monster because he's a really good Taunt monster. But then again, I do like that he's a Mega Taunt monster. It just kind of goes against each other because Taunt and Mega Taunt are for completely different team strategies. So Tough is really good for a Taunt monster, since if you only single target, like let's say you do an AoE with 2 dots, right? Or let's say an AoE with a dot and a denial. There's a good chance that this misses on him because Tough is 35%, no moves 100%. So there's a good chance they miss at least the dot or the Mega Taunt or the dot or the denial, and you get to heal your team. But with Mega Taunt, you're going to get all of it, so Tough doesn't matter anyways, because there's no way Tough is going to protect you from 3 times. Like, if they do an AoE, they attack all your teammates, that's going to be 3 doses of damage, basically, and there's no way that Tough is going to protect you if you have Mega Taunt. But if you have Taunt, it's very useful. This is the kind of monster where you plop him into a team, and I think most people just put him in Taunt dodge area teams anyways because they just wait for the status caster Mega Taunt to be cleansed or wear off. Because at rank 3 we have status caster Mega Taunt. It is extremely powerful. Alright, this means all attacks unless you have Pierce or Cold Blood. Those are the only 2 active mechanics that can go past it. Or if you can cleanse it in some way, be it trait disable or positive effect removal. All of the attacks, even area attacks, are going to be sucked into him. So he's definitely going to have to hold all your tanky runes. But that is just a really great mechanic, Mega Taunt. Plus, Doomsday era monsters had a lot of very good relics, talents at their disposal. So let me show you him. I think I have him in the monster vault. And here he is. So I already have him at rank 1, breakout 1. And let's go over his skill set. And it seems I can't check out all of his skills because I am actively ranking him up. So I think just for the purpose of this video, I'll just speed rank him. I think it's worth it. So boom, and I have him at an instant rank 2 showcase, which is actually very helpful for me because I want to showcase him with the talent 7 Sins. I think I'll go over all of them. So now that we've got him at rank 2, I've already given him some decent runes. I know I'm going to be using this guy a lot in war. Let's go over his skill set. So, Altern Capacity. Applies major damage reduction to one enemy, 0 stamina, 0 cooldown. So, yeah, no, definitely not. I can't advocate major damage reduction and damage reduction. They just feel so pointless to me, like they hardly change anything in the battle. But doing it to one person, no matter what scenario, will never be useful. Like, you'd rather recharge at that point. Direct Conductor applies shock to one enemy, 0 cooldown, 10 stamina. So I can kind of see the appeal in this one. Maybe you're fighting Lord Heyman, you're fighting Rarus, and they cooldown activate your entire team, and then you get a turn in before their Dark Voltaic. You can use this move to apply shock to him, and then boom, he's shocked. He can't do his infinite extra turns. Maybe that saves you in a battle. I gotta say, I absolutely love the fact that this monster has shock. It is an amazing counter to be able to have in your Megaton monster because maybe your attacker is Pierce, it's like Serpentex, and your buffer is Shadonia. There's no counter for infinite extra turns in that team, and that's where a Megaton monster with shock would come in really well. So let's see if he has a better move for this, but that's definitely not that bad. Next, we got Amp Conductor. Deals low magic damage to one enemy, applies major damage reduction. Yeah, once again, it's major damage reduction. I can't suggest it. And then Form Fission. Deals heavy magic damage to one enemy, applies total damage reduction to one enemy. Requires cooldown. So on a 45 stamina, 35 cooldown. No, okay. 45 stamina, 3 turn cooldown. That's a lot of damage. And it is gonna shut down a monster. So let's say you're fighting Nishant the Great. He is a physical attacker. If you can land a total damage reduction on certain attackers, even Cherub Cupid and Serpentex, as dangerous as they seem, if you land a blind on them or a total damage reduction, they're still not doing any damage. So it's kind of move that is kind of useful. It's a soft denial. You'll still get hit with dots. So you really got to debate whether it's worth it. I honestly think it would be, but I've debated that this is his best skill set, and I'll go over it and why. So we got Brisk Brownout, applies thunder protection and a random elemental protection to one ally, heals one ally by 30%. So one thing I love about this move on a 35 stamina 1 turn cooldown is that you can actually do it to any ally. So let's say you notice that your Omnia is doing really bad and she might get torn up by dots. Boom, you actually have a random elemental protection, a thunder protection, and a 30% heal on a 1 turn cooldown, so it's not that hard to cycle. I just think a team support on any kind of tank, especially a Taunt and Megaton monster, is an amazing mechanic to have in your arsenal. So I gotta recommend this move. Then we have Flesh Conductor, really weird name. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies, applies shock to all enemies, requires cooldown. So, it's not about the damage, so the damage is very low. 40 stamina, 2 turn cooldown, so kind of hefty on the stamina. Some of his moves are, as you can see, 45 over here. But I think this is one of his best moves because it does shock to all enemies. So there's a lot of teams where this will work. Sadly, all of the most dangerous dodge area monsters have protections to where you won't get to them with this. Like when you think Dark Voltaic, Light Voltaic, Omnia, and Shadonia, they all have some form of dodge area. So they will all be dangerous it'll be hard to apply the shock itself, which is why, you are also going to want to run this move. Capitians. Deals moderate thunder damage to one enemy, applies shock to one enemy, applies Megaton to itself. So this is how you're going to apply shock to all of those dodge area monsters because it's impossible to land an AoE on them. You do need a single, and on the bonus side, it also reapplies Megaton, which could go with or against whatever you want. So I'd say, honestly, maybe you do run the Direct Conductor just for the purpose of shutting down infinite extra turn monsters who also happen to be dodge area. Maybe you run it because it's definitely not worthless. Shock is just a counter that's so important in this game, and I really like that he has it. But for me, I'm just going to run Capitance and Flesh Conductor, and I think they're good. There's definitely an argument for Form Fission as another form of countering, denial, but I just don't see it as worth it. And then we have Die Mage, the big one. Applies magic. Oh, and of course, one thing about this monster is he has high stamina. Look at that, 48 stamina, but for all of the things you do in this move, I think it's worth it. All right, applies magic protection and 2 random elemental protections to all allies. So that is magic, and assuming the other 2 aren't also magic, that is 3 elemental protections. You could get really lucky with that. Of course, as is with any random positive effect, it could just get cleansed away. It could hardly make the difference if the attacker is that strong. But at the end of the day, it's a really nice buff, and it's only taking the backseat to the 25% heal to all of your team and yourself on 48 stamina, 3-turn cooldown. I think it's just amazing that he even has any healing for his whole team. So this is definitely a move where, let's say, like, your whole team is eating dots. You're definitely going to want to move like this to kind of help your team. So I will say, Capitus is kind of like the move that, if anything, it's the most volatile, or maybe Flesh Conductor. Like, maybe you think, oh, I don't want AoEs in this dodge area meta. I want Form Fission, so it's a single denial. That's a valid argument. I'm just going to run Capitus, but there's definitely arguments for otherwise. Now let's go over his relics. He has an amazing banner relic. This is really, really good. Really easy to work with. So you can put on a Mr. Beast banner, take care of stamina for the whole entire team. That is a very nice thing for a Megaton monster to do. And then, put on whatever armor. I just suggest Vod Magnus armor because it goes really well with the talent I'm going to use, which is 7 Sins. Now, this was a pay-to-win talent, and I am so sorry for selling out, but this is the most powerful talent for, like, any sort of tank monster right now, and I really want to showcase it. So I'm going to go with him. And even though his life stat isn't the highest, it's definitely still usable in the meta. And what attacker should I use? I think I'm going to go Serpentex. I haven't used Serpentex in forever. And for the heck of it, I want to use Galvanus. But for me, it's the kind of thing where it's like people like Galvanus who are preemptive never work. They just come in and kill. So I need a monster like Fireful. So I'm going to use this team and see how far I can get. Of course, this is just starting out in Champion League, so my opponents are going to be easy and perfect for these monster reviews. Let's get into it. All right, so first we got Cosmic Era monsters. Kind of a freebie because Serpentex alone could destroy these guys. So, damage increase, turn transfer, he got triple damage. Yeah, that was just an easy sweep. They never had a shot. All right. So that is 1 win in the books. And that is why it's kind of hard to showcase a Megaton monster when your team is so good. Because a Megaton monster just kind of has to be there. No, even a Taunt monster. So I forgot. I got to use dodge area. A Taunt monster just has to be there to tank attacks. And when your opponents can't even get an attack in, it's hard to showcase. So after this, I'll switch up the strategy. But this Fireful strat is really working for me. So, another win. We got a low tier. I'm just going to skip this one. 1 hour. I know this monster isn't necessarily good, but it's for the sport. So I'm going to use Omni as the attacker. And what is another Megataunt monster I can use? No, a taunt monster I can use. Slumster. I think he might be a good showcase here. I'm trying to think of good support monsters with dodge area, but I can't use Shadonia because I don't have a rank 5 yet. So yeah, Torvak's Mask is usually the one I run on her. I have her attacker skill set. This is Slumster. Slumster is just the protection monster. I'll give you Slumster's Trap just for the name brand. Oh wait, but I already had, well, I guess it wasn't the most necessary. But that does let me take off Tactical Scouter and throw on Nanite Cloud. And I'm just gonna, try and make you slightly fast. Let's see, speedrun. All right. 18,000 speed isn't the worst. Let's get another good rune. All right, so now we're doing Taunt Dodge Area, so I can showcase what exactly the Taunt Dodge Area is supposed to do. So look, 7 Sin kicks in. Toxins is super deadly. Infinite Gifts, and then I get more dots in. He activates 7 Sins. You attack me again. I do even more dots. Somehow my Slumpster is faster than Omnia. That almost never happens, so I'm just going to do 2 the sewers, metal welding, and I'm just going to take advantage and kill. I'm going to see how far I can get like this. And I do kind of want to see if I can get my teammates, even if it has to be fighting a Pierce monster, if I can showcase the team healing and how that's really useful in a battle. So Slumpster's Trap kicks in. Of course it does. Boom, I hit you. You have 7 Sins, which is very interesting. So I am going to showcase it. So it comes around to me, and look, he's going to die to dots. I could do this. You see, this is a scenario where the single denial would have come in handy, because I would have been able to single deny him, and no matter what he did, he wouldn't have been able to damage my team. But let's say I was afraid of Teddy Bomb giving me a ton of dots, because, Teddy Bomb is a dot monster, and it's representative of the fact that there's a lot of things, including 7 Sins, that just make dots so deadly in the meta. I do this. Let's see what 3 protections I get. All right, so look, magic, special, and light protection. Light protection and magic protection are really good for the meta. Look, Omnia got fire protection. So on that odd chance that you land a good protection, boom, that could have helped me counter Serpentex and Cherub Cupid. So, you always got to kind of hope for that, but it could happen. So this video is only going to be W's, so I just want to take a good chest before I end it. As you can see, he's a pretty good taunt monster. It kind of gets difficult when you run him as a Mega Taunt monster, because when the Mega Taunt runs out, there's still a taunt, and everyone is always kind of disappointed when you feel like you lose out on synergy. So, and look at this. I think this is going to be a good showcase of his healing capabilities. So, evasion to all. You kill him, but you are going to have to do an AoE. Oh, that was a single. Alright, well, I decide to do this. The other 2 get extra turns. I'm really screwed. Griffin, Shadow, Enlightenment. Do that, boom. Alright, so I am taking quite a bit of damage. 7 Sins is on my side. Boom, and it kicks in again. Oh, I don't want him to die, though. So, I do Transparent Aquarius. Alright, you live. Sadly, he dies. I don't know if I can still pull this off. Depends, really. No, Cherub Cupid killed. Who runs I'm a Lover? I used to, but I realized it's really goofy. So we lost that match. It's a good showcase of just the fact of why people don't use Taunt Dodge Area anymore, because it's kind of hard to pull off with all of these Pierce monsters running around and just kind of making any form of protection really unusable. And you're going to be seeing a lot of Cherub Cupid in these lower leagues. This is definitely going to give me a hard time, since that's Azajin, the hardest monster to fight with Omnia. So I'm going to do to the sewers, AoE cleanse. You can't do anything, so you're going to recharge, or you try, and then remove positive effects. I could just do an AoE and kill, but you'll just come back anyways. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill, and then next time it comes around, I'm going to kill you again. You're going to eat a lot of dots, Uriel. Almost dead, almost dead. So I want to get around to killing him. So if we can get him to attack, yes, that was good. He attacked Sparkus. The 7 Sins kicked in. Alright, Uriel did fully die. And see, this is a good example. Oh, he's dying. And I don't need to do a team healing and get 3 protections. So I'm just going to focus more, and I'm going to do a self-healing with 2 protections. So boom, what do I get? I heal up by more, and I got water and thunder protection. Alright. So a magic protection would be good, because right now Azajin is so popular. So cleanse, damage boost, attack again so that the sunburn wears off, and nanovirus. Alright, and looks like you're going to die to these dots. That's really the best way to kill Azajin. And then it's all up to Omnia now. But this should be pretty easy. Alright, do that, and you're dead. Alright, so that is another win. Yeah, really easy to showcase. It really just depends on your other two teammates. As always, a taunt monster can't do much on his own, but the fact that he's taunt and megataunt gives him synergy with a lot of different teams, and it really depends on how you want to play it. You can play him as a taunt monster, you can play it as a megataunt monster. He has access to shock as a counter to all these infinite extra turn monsters. He's got access to very, very powerful talents. I remember talents being a highlight of the Doomsday era. So I'm gonna do to the sewers. So yeah, there's really a lot to like about him, and I think you should definitely rank him up. I already got mine's ranked 2 just from the bounty hunt, so I hope you got him somewhere near that too, because he's a great monster. So just keep on with the flurry of attacks. Oh my god, not that. Not phase shield. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to apply nanovirus, so that your phase shield doesn't kick in again, and that's a wasted kick. Alright, so look. He attacked him, and 7 Sins didn't kick in because, and this is a new update actually. Usually 7 Sins would kick in whenever they attack them, even if it hits the evasion. But the new mechanic is as long as they attack evasion and it doesn't count as they hit them, the relics can't count as reflection because it doesn't count as they hit them. So that is actually a pretty nice update by SP. It's a lot more balanced. I'm just going to do Die Mage. Look at that. Slumster and Omnia are back to 100%. And I'm going to do Giggle Water just because I know that Teddy Bomb likes cleansing. So I'm going to destroy you in 2 hits. Oh no, I really just forgot about that. So boom, luckily this is the last time I'll have to fight through the phase shield. And boom, you just had to pry open the shell of the crab, and now there's just the meat. So boom, hit you. Damage boost. Boom. Turn transfer to myself. Kill Gahizel. And then Slumster is the Teddy Bomb is the final one. Funny that, like, for 3 times I've just destroyed Teddy Bomb with all of the dots that 7 Sins has to offer. So boom, I'm just going to let him just get torn up by a million different dots. And yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this showcase. He's a really fun monster if you have the right relics. He's a really viable monster in my opinion. He's got a lot of great mechanics you want to see in a Megataunt monster and a Taunt monster. He's just all around great and definitely worth ranking up. I hope you got him out of this recent bounty hunt, and I hope you enjoy using him. Great war pick. Great PvP pick. Yeah, definitely worth getting. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. It supports the video. It supports my content. Please leave a comment and I will respond. I always love to hear your thoughts and comments on monsters, strategies, anything. What would you rank him in terms of like Megaton monsters in this time and day? Definitely still amazing in war. No, yeah, in war and PvP. But tell me what your thoughts are. And yeah, subscribe to join the Crab Army. We are at 215 subscribers and we're only going up. I know I've had a while without posting, but that was just because I was editing me and Abrigo's collab, and that took forever. So go ahead and watch that. Thank you so much for watching this far. That's all the support I need from you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope to see you in the next one. Your favorite Omni-Crab signing out. See you in the next one. Peace.